Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rope Breaks with Jacob King. I am your host, Jacob King. This week we have an interview with none other than Johnny Badgate, a Boston-born professional wrestler who's been training and tearing up the scene here in Houston, Texas. He is an acquired taste, to say the least. This interview does have some coarse language and some strong themes, but I think that if you power through it, there's a lot to enjoy here. Be sure to like and subscribe here on the channel so that you don't miss any of our further interviews. And without further ado, please enjoy our interview with the king of toxic masculinity, Johnny Badgate. How you doing, Johnny?
Oh, I'm doing. What a pleasure it must be for you to have me on.
I know, right? We've been trying to do this for a long time.
That we have. But, your people got with my people. By your people, I mean you and Scott Bruce, and my people, I mean a long chain of people. It's pretty hard to get to me, but you managed to do it, man. Congratulations. You got through to me, pal, and I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you, young man.
Thank you. It's a career highlight.
It should be. It should be. As it should. I'm filling up my water. I drink a gallon of water a day. I'm better than most people. I got to stay hydrated. I'm 6'1", 230 pounds. I had to stay hydrated. So, I hope there's no, what's up? Yeah, you see this? You see that? You see that backsplash right there? That's not an average backsplash, okay? You see that blender? That's an $8,000 blender. I assure you this is actual sugar in here. I promise you, no uncontrolled substances that are on this video. That's a picture of me and the best thing that ever happened to me, and then my girlfriend. Yeah. So how are you, Jacob?
I'm doing well. I'm not as stir crazy as I usually am, so all things considered, today's going great. It's good to get you on the call, Johnny. So this is, I guess, we're about a month into doing this interview series, so thank you for coming on. It's good to talk to somebody of your caliber, especially given that over the past weekend, I know that you got back in the ring for the first time.
That I did.
And from what I understand, as I had to leave early to catch some important business, you were nearly accessory to a murder in the
That I
ring.
was, man. That I was. The only person in the wrestling industry that I'm more afraid of is Sadika from Mexico. Yeah, she does not play. And when we were told, she got flown in, I was told I had a booking in my neck of the woods where I unfortunately happened to stay in the Houston area. They told me about the booking. They told me we were going to face a couple guys, I thought they were going to be flying in somebody from AEW or something like that. Lo and behold, it was two little goofy ass cholo kids. They're like 5'5". On a good day, I think they had lifts in their boots. We were both a little upset, so I told her like, "Hey, we're not going to wrestle here, sister. We are definitely not wrestling here." And so I told her, "Yo, we're not going to wrestle here. You go out there and you be Sadika, and I'm going to be Johnny Badgate." And what that entailed was me screaming it's Johnny time at the top of my lungs and just being the most toxic, the most masculinitarian man I can be, and her butchering a man's face open. So there you have it. Sadika and Johnny Badgate doing what we do best.
So you mentioned that you were running around the ring yelling, "It's Johnny time." What exactly does "It's Johnny time" mean? Because nobody has been able to give me an accurate description of that, what that phrase actually entails.
Okay, so it's a dive take in quantum physics actually, and it's just something very deep and very rooted in mathematics and science and philosophy. I'm just here to spread to everyone and let them know that no matter what time zone you're in, no matter what year you're in, what century you're in, what level playing field in your mind you're in, it's always and will always be Johnny time. It's a very deep concept. It does not just simply mean like, hey, it's here, and I put a fancy clock on a wall and as my logo, and put these cool little earrings in my ear and wear a bandana on my head, and have an aesthetic that may resemble the 80s. It's not just what it is. Okay, I'm letting people know that it's Johnny time, and I don't do this thing. I don't do this for money. I'm not a pro wrestling superstar for money. I do it for the passion, Mr. King, the passion of making a lot of money. So there you have that.
So where did you first discover that passion for making a lot of money? Because it seems like something that you have to work your way up to. It seems to be something that you have to really embrace. When did you first embrace that?
Okay, so funny thing, in high school, I was an amazing athlete. Freaking shocker, right? I played just about every sport imaginable. I was also a boxer. I boxed for 10 years. I'm originally from South Boston, Massachusetts. I boxed there. I moved here. I boxed here. I began playing football. Funny thing, I didn't play football until I was 14, freshman year in high school. I made varsity very shortly after that. And I was actually blessed. I willed myself to get a scholarship. Went to college. By the way, I have a 4-year degree, so I'm better than everybody on the Indies. You have a degree too. Once I heard that you had a degree, that's when I was like, okay, this is my man. I only get interviewed by people that have degrees. Okay, so So you're not a king of toxic masculinity, but you are a knight of toxic masculinity, whether if you like it or not. Something me and you have in common, sir. We both have degrees. I played football there. I played Division I football there. Unfortunately, I went so hard playing football that I got CTE. So I had to get redshirted, and I couldn't play after 2 semesters. I was able to keep my scholarship. When I graduated college, I noticed something was missing. Not in my life, in pro wrestling. Okay, I grew up. I'm 27. I grew up. I watched The Rock. I watched Stone Cold. Watch all those bad cats. Right. I realized there was something that was missing. There was no Jack. There was no Tan. There was just no toxic masculinity in wrestling. There was nobody that's cool. It's just a bunch of midgets wearing kick pads thinking that they can fight, stiffen each other in the ring, so to speak, when they can't fight in real life, right? So I realized that there's nothing missing in my life. I realized I had more to offer. So I was like, I'm going to step in something that I actually loved. I hated what wrestling became, but I was like, I needed to come here and show everybody why it was, is, and will forever be Johnny time. That's why I began wrestling. I began training. I took over TASW. I have all this momentum. I'm on this Houston scene, but I don't consider myself a Texas independent wrestler. And it's not just because I'm born in Massachusetts, by the way. It's because I'm a superstar. I'm bigger than every situation I'm in. No matter what situation I'm in that you can possibly think I could be in, I'm always going to be better than that situation. And I'm always going to be thinking forward. So that's just my philosophy and some of my goals. So the biggest situation you can think of, Mr. King, that I could be in as a professional wrestler, think about it. The utmost, oh my God, it doesn't get bigger than this. I'm thinking of something bigger. Because that's what I deserve.
Well, obviously, you've been making a lot of waves. I know that you talked about how my people talk to your people and your people talk to you. Well, obviously, one of my people is Scott Bruce, the the head honcho over at Renegade Wrestling Revolution. And I talked to Scott, and he wanted me to pass along a message, and that message was, please stay away from our ref. Thomas Barnes is off limits. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but he said you would understand.
It's a love triangle. I mean, it's something a little bit confusing. I sometimes am a guest host on Cheap Pops, and Scott Bruce has not gotten that Cheap Pop rub, but he's getting that Johnny Badgate rub via you. So I think that there's just some sort of like friction with Thomas, him, and me. Nothing weird, nothing odd, nothing out of the ordinary, sir. Just good old fashioned just love of each other, pro wrestling, and I believe that's what it is. And Thomas Barnes, and by the way, he's a great referee. Okay,
One of the best referees on the Texas independent scene, to be sure. A little odd, but definitely knows what he's doing. So, talking about your plans for professional wrestling in the coming future, you said that there was something missing, and that was you, obviously, toxic masculinity. So, do you feel like there is anything that's missing now that toxic masculinity has been injected back into the scene? What else does this scene need now that it has you?
now that it has me, I mean, I believe it has everything. I believe it has everything. I mean, they got the guys that can do all the flippy doos and dippy dives, and then they got the women. They got great women wrestlers. Not a big fan of them cutting promos. They're great athletes. Don't get me wrong. They can wrestle their butts off, but just microphones, them are like oil and water. It's just no, no, no. So we got honestly, I hate to give anybody shine on the Texas scene, but my God, Texas scene has the best female wrestlers. Like, I'm dead serious, right? Has that. Hey, they got the white trash brutes with the tribal tattoos and the farmer's tans and all that. So they got the white trash stuff covered in Texas. Shocker, right? And they have me. They have a college educated guy. They got a good looking guy. They got a funny guy. They got a guy that jumps off the page. They got a guy that when I walk into the damn room, Mr. King, everyone turns their head and is like, that's somebody important. And that's what I got into when I first started watching wrestling. I saw The Rock and I was like, shoot. Can I cuss?
Yes, you can.
Shit. That is a fucking wrestler right there, sir. That I was like, that there's something that just magnetized. And that's what pro wrestling is. Pro wrestling is not these moves. It's not these guys going out there and dropping each other on their head and then making out after the match and crying because they had such a great 5-star class. That's not what wrestling is. Wrestling is bringing in more than 20 people. Okay, that. Well, let's just be honest. If a tree falls down in the forest and no one hears it, did it really fall? If you have a great wrestling match and nobody saw it, did you really have a great wrestling match?
That's a good point. That is definitely a good point. And I've seen you draw and pop crowds in various venues across Houston. One of the things that I've seen is that you work a lot of different types of promotions. You don't just stick with, like you said, TASW. You don't just stick with any one type of wrestling. I've seen you wrestle lucha type shows. I've seen you wrestle I've seen you wrestle in just about any venue that you could possibly imagine. How do you approach having to entertain and pop different types of crowds like that? Because does the king of toxic masculinity, does Johnny Badgate, does Johnny Time resonate with every audience?
It does. So for lucha, simply no. It's not my left arm. It's not my right arm. It's a tiempo de Johnny. And if I don't feel like that, it's Johnny Time. God damn it! Like, no matter what time zone, no matter what language barrier we're in, it's always Johnny Time. So, with the lucha crowd, they might like some different stuff. So, hey, I might throw one of them little vanilla midgets out of the ring, lay him across a nice little chica mamacita, give him a nice little chop across his chest. They might like that a little bit more. But it's still the same thing. I can wrestle lucha. I like that style. Shout out to my boy Low Rider. I like that style of wrestling. I do. I might alter it a little bit, give them a little more of the pizzazz of the lucha, but it's still Johnny Time. It's still me. Fun fact, my beautiful mother is Mexicana. My mother is Mexican. That is a fact. So I do speak Spanish. And so there's that. But I don't really go there speaking Spanish. Johnny Time is a universal thing. So, but I do, like you said, I like, anywhere I can get within reason. Quality bookings are still my thing. Or, they should always be, no matter how early you are into your career. You should always try to be taking quality bookings. But I feel my presence alone brings value to a company. It's different. It's oh God, that looks like a wrestler. That guy looks like he's seen a gym. And that's the sad part. Is like there's 80% of this scene looks like they never stepped inside of a gym. Like, I'm not even talking like looking like a pro wrestler. I mean, like, Jesus, guy, have you heard of a bicep curl? They don't even have gym memberships. I probably logged more quarantine gym hours than the majority of these guys logged 2019 gym hours, but I digress.
Right. And you talked about how important it is to present that image of, you look like a professional wrestler. You want to present, this is what Johnny Badgate looks like. I am the definition of a professional wrestler. Beyond looks, what is it that you think makes a wrestler stand out in today's scene? You talked about how it's not just the moves anymore. What is it that makes you stand out in your personal opinion?
Me, or just people in general, what they can do to stand out?
Well, I don't think that anyone can live up to your expectations, so let's start with you and then go from there.
Me, like I said, my goal is to always be the loudest person in the room. That's just my goal. If you get annoyed, you get annoyed. If you like me, you like me. I'm not going to be one of those guys. I'm not a heel. I'm not a baby face. I'm Johnny Badgate. If you want to like me, you damn right you can buy a T-shirt. I'm not one of these goofy old school freaking Mid-South NWA watching wrestlers in Texas that you know what I hate? You know what I absolutely hate? When a heel goes by a fan, he goes to shake their hand and then he does this. It's like, oh, okay, you're cool. You're really a bad guy. No, if someone wants to cheer for me, you keep cheering for me. If you don't like me, I don't really care. But yes, I have supporters. I'm not going to turn them away just because I had to be a heel. There's no more heels in wrestling. There's either too much old school or there's too much new school in wrestling. Okay, there's balance. There's a world. Like, it's just like these guys have never been outside of the parameters of wrestling and see what people like. Go inside of a bar and pick up a chick. You know what I'm saying? Go try to pick up a chick and do this. Oh, too slow, girl. And see if you're going to get laid that night. It's not happening. So like I said, it's charisma, man. It's it factors too. You know, like why is Jeff Hardy so big and John Cena so big? You know what I'm saying? There's that it factor too. It's just like and also cool. This is a cool factor, man. It's not just about being a great wrestler. It's a cool factor. The Rock was cool. Stone Cold was cool. You know, Shawn Michaels was cool. It was a cool factor. And I think that's what it is. Like, if a lot of these guys that wrestle these days, and I'm anti-bullying. I'm totally anti-bullying, but they were the guy in the classroom in the corner with their headphones in, just praying that nobody would see them. I was the guy that was like, yes, I will present the group project. Please let me present the group project. And just get up there and just yada, 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 yada. Hitler was a bad guy. You know, freaking 9/11 sucked. 4 equals my pi squared plus, you know what I'm saying? Geometry, you know what I'm saying? Like that was just me. And I think that translates into wrestling. And that's really like who I am. I'm really the loudest person everywhere I'm in. I feel inadequate if someone's on their phone and texting, if they're not recording me and they're just on their phone, they're just like this, I failed. I will be depressed. That has not happened. I have people's attention at all times. And that's what's important to me. Not having 5-star classic match. I don't give a shit. I don't care. You know, do the fans care? That's all that matters. Is do the fans care, and does the promoter want me back? When a promoter comes up right after my match, leaves the table and comes backstage, and the first thing he does is comes up and shakes my hand and says thank you before he does anything else, and the crowd pops, I've done my fucking job. That's all that matters. I don't care if none of these other wrestlers are talking shit about me in their group chat saying I'm not a real wrestler, saying I call my shots too much and I'm too cocky and I'm too this and I'm too that. I do not care. Is the promoter satisfied, and did the fans like what I did or not like what I did? Were the fans incited, and do they either want to see me come back or want to see me get my ass beat? Which, by the way, won't happen because I'm me. That's all that matters to me. You get what I'm saying? So
That makes a lot of sense.
Fans, promoter, the guy that's paying you, and the people that's going to continue to pump money into his company. You know.
I know at one point we had a conversation about how, and you've kind of mentioned that in this interview, that today's wrestlers are not what you would expect out of a professional wrestler, and that they're out there trying to put on a clinic. They're trying to put on 5-star matches, and that their inspiration is, oh, I saw an obscure match that was recorded on a grainy cell phone from AJPW in 1997 or what have you. The wrestlers today are wrestling nerds first and foremost, and wrestlers second, I believe is how you put it. And exactly. I wanted to ask you, what is your inspiration in professional wrestling? What is it that guides your philosophy now? What is it that drives Johnny Badgate to be Johnny Badgate?
Rick Rude. First and foremost, every move and everything that I do, would Rick Rude be proud of that? Ravishing Rick Rude. That was a pro wrestler. You know, and like I said, it's being cool, man. It's being cool and being myself. I don't want to pop the boys. If somebody, you know, I have no problem. If a wrestler comes up and shake my hand, I'll definitely shake his hand. Well, or I guess now COVID. But, you know, you come up and shake my hand, but I did not get in this business to be one of the boys. I have a couple of my close friends, my little circle that you know. That's it. You know, a couple of the bigger guys, they talk to me and they show support and they show love, and I'm happy for that. But if I start getting heat, which I do have, like, I don't care. I just simply don't care. Like, I'm not driven by what people, because let me tell you this, Jacob King, If one of these guys that don't like me and says that I'm too brash and I'm too outspoken and I need to learn my place and I need to work my way up a little more, if they dump me on my goddamn head, are they gonna pay me? Are they gonna pay my bills? Are they gonna pay me and my fiance's bills when I'm not working? No, that's why I don't care. I don't care. Like, come on, bro. I'm a grown man, a college graduate, dude. I've been through it all, dude. I almost lost my scholarship that I worked hard for, that I busted my ass for. I'll be damned if I let some fucking virgin skinny fat fuck tell me that I'm not a real wrestler. Tell me I need to work my way up. No. If a promoter tells me that, then yeah. But I don't care what one of the boys have to say. Because they're not gonna pay my bills. They can't even pay their own goddamn bills. I have like 8 roommates and shit. I'm not, and I'm not calling anybody out in particular. I'm just saying, like, I didn't get in this business to be one of the boys. That's not what I got in this business for. When I'm done as a wrestler, Mr. King, I'm out. I don't want to be a producer. I don't want to be a trainer. I don't want to be a manager. I want to be a wrestler, and then I'm out. I want to make my money and get out. I do like wrestling. Don't get me wrong. I like the competition of it. I like the sport and the passion of it. I do. But don't let none of these promoters or anybody take advantage of you. And that's what a lot of these boys don't realize. They're gonna get taken advantage of. Like, people take advantage of people with passion. Like, I'll work for anything. I'll work for a bag of peanuts. Like, I'll be damned. You hand me a hot dog and a handshake, I'm gonna fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? And everybody should have that, man. Everybody should have that attitude as well, man. Like, don't call it the business. Don't get into something that's called the business, and then be, I'm just passionate. I just want to put on a great match. I just have to respect the sanctity of the sport. If you don't call it a business, call it a sport. And hey, when you get offered that envelope, give it back to the promoter. Say, hey, just put it back into your business. I wrestled for free. Don't call it the business then. You have to be thinking about yourself. You have to be thinking about yourself. You have to be thinking about what's going to put you in the best financial position going forward, in my opinion. But that's what motivates me, is being the best Johnny Badgate I can be, and affecting the most people. I want people to be thinking about me at that show, the next day at work. They're like, so I just randomly went, and that's the people I want to bring. I love passionate wrestling fans to go to all the indie events. I want maybe a guy, 4 of his friends are really unfamiliar with wrestling, the lapsed fan from the Attitude Era, post-Attitude Era. They might know Brock Lesnar. Maybe they heard of Roman Reigns. I want them to be like, oh, there's a wrestling show. I'm off that day. Let's go to it. And they're like, oh, let me tell you this, Bob, the next day at work. Let me tell you this, Bob. There was this dude, Johnny Badgate, hairy chest, jacked, tan. That was the loudest dude there. Oh, there's something about him. There's just something I can't quite put my finger on, but I was just glued to him. And that's my goal. And if that's not your goal as a wrestler, that's fine. It's a little weird to me. Then what is your goal? You know what I'm saying? Then what are their goals? To like put on a great match? Like, if no one talks about it the next day, then why does that matter? You get what I'm saying? Okada Omega. I'm a big fan of that myself. People still talk about that, and they will talk about that. But Jesus, man, if you go out there trying to have Okada Omega every night for freaking $40-$50, you think Kenny Omega or Okada will just go out in front of 20 people and for $40 and have a 6-star classic for no reason? Nope. Those are still $1 million performers right there,
So, beyond recognition and being known as the loudest guy in the room and being the most memorable person on any given card, do you have any aspirations for your professional wrestling career beyond notoriety, or do you just want your name to be remembered? Are there accolades that you're hoping to search for within your career? Is there anything like that drives you?
Man, I want merch records. I want Johnny Time, my logo. I want that logo to be as iconic as Austin 316. I want kids arguing over me. You know what I'm saying? I want kids talking about me like they talk about Stone Cold. Like they talk about Iron Man. And you know what I'm saying? That's how I want that's what I want to be known. I want to be a pop culture phenomenon. You know what I'm saying? That happens to wrestle. I want to be a professional wrestling superstar. Belts and stuff, that's cool. If I can do it on the indie scene and never have to go to one of the big companies, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. Just be like the Elvis of the indies. I could do that. I mean, if I bring in that many people, maybe they had to build, like, maybe indie wrestling. I'll take it from like small venues to possibly high school auditoriums, college stadiums, but packed. That would be cool. That would be that would be cool. Just do stuff that's never really been done. That like people don't think is like plausible. When you start putting limitations on yourself, when you aim for good, you get bad. When you aim for great, you get good. When you aim for perfection, you get greatness. And and when you aim for the impossible, you get perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I want to do. I want to aim for the impossible. Titles are cool. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if I can run through every indie promotion and grab their biggest strap and represent them, that's cool. But at the end of the day, what's going to make me an icon? What's going to make Johnny Badgate a pop culture icon and put me in people's minds like a Stone Cold, like a Rock? Don't get me wrong. Hey, I would love to take that picture next to Triple H. You know what I'm saying? In Orlando. I would love that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be one of these guys that's like, oh, never go to the WWE. Or they're the big leagues. They're the, whatever. That they dilute the product. Hey, man, that's an opportunity to get my package, the Johnny Badgate, the King of Toxic Masculinity package, onto a bigger, grander stage. So that's my goal as a professional wrestler, is just, can I be the best that I can be? Can I transcend pro wrestling, be a professional wrestling superstar? I don't want to just be another wrestler with cool moves and this and that, And it's not just the body either. It's not just like, oh, I just want to be the biggest, most jacked wrestler. Psh, that's a byproduct. That's a byproduct of being an athlete and being in the gym. I want the Johnny Badgate just entity to just be larger than life. I want people to be like 30, 40 years from now, people talk about, oh, I saw him at the supermarket. And people, like how they talk about Bo Jackson, and going to be like, oh yeah, one time Johnny Badgate, the arena was only supposed to fit 10,000 people. I swear there was 50,000 people in there. And I want to be spoken of in folklore, like Paul Bunyan. You know what I'm saying? Like a good looking Paul Bunyan, with the nice earrings. So.
Well, in addition to those goals of selling out arenas and ending up with wherever you can to, launch your brand and keep it in everybody's mind, along the way, are there any dream opponents, anybody on the indie scene or in the upper echelons that you'd like to share a ring with at any point in your career?
MJF, Zicky Dice, definitely. Me and Zicky Dice, NWA television champion. You know him?
Yeah.
We are cut from that same cloth. Me and him are cut from, I feel like we view wrestling the same way. So definitely Zicky Dice. On this scene, there's a certain gorilla, Nate Slater, I like to smack around. Just man, there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys. Seth Rollins, Austin Theory, Daniel Bryan. I'd like, hey, come try to break one of my limbs. That'll be fun. Afro Man. I feel like me and him are like, you know what I'm saying? We're like neck and neck in terms of just like rockets, just about to just take off on the scene. You know what I'm saying? We were supposed to have a match right before, like literally the first batch of shows got canceled before COVID-19. We were gonna have a match. Wasn't for the cruiserweight title because I couldn't get down to whatever 195 pounds, but it was gonna be a non-title match, and I was going to throw that schmuck around all over the ring. And it would have been fun. I would have let him dance for a little bit, throw him around, beat him up a little bit, let him catch his wind, beat him up, throw him out a little bit, let him catch his wind, let him dance a little bit, beat him up. Like how a big tiger plays with his food, similar to that, except a little bit more flexing and a little bit more yelling Johnny time at very high octaves. That type of thing. But yeah, I mean, just do all the top names on the indies, man. I want to work. Joey Ryan. Oh my God. We create magic. We would create penis time magic. Me and Joey Ryan. It would just be beautiful. There's just a lot of good guys. You know, that I'd love to tangle. I'd definitely love to tangle with. Pablo Cruz, like to wrestle him or tag with him. Really, and as far as tag teams are concerned, me and Sadiqa will run through everybody like a chainsaw through a stick of butter. Let's just be honest. I do the speaking, she does the throwing people through glass, or whatever object she gets her hands on. But there's just so many. Jordan Oliver from MLW, like a lot of those dudes in MLW. Like I said, I call my shots. Like I call my shots and I take them and I drive my knee through people's foreheads. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And yell at the top of my lung, it's Johnny time. I don't care. Put me in the ring. Put me in the ring with anybody. He's not ready. That's not nothing that has ever rung through my head. I don't get that mentality. If you've ever told yourself, I'm not ready for this, you're never going to be fucking ready. Just my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that at least a huge number of those matches are actually going to take place at some point. It's only a matter of time. But I feel like we're running out of time at the moment, so I'm going to wrap this up by asking you, is there anything that you need to put out there into the world with this interview? Any statements that Johnny Badgate needs to make before we sign off?
Besides the fact that, it was, is, and will forever be Johnny time, I'm the king of toxic masculinity, and I'm going to drip toxic masculinity all over independent pro wrestling. And continue to. I'm going to flood it. And every promoter, just get ready. If you want a guy that looks like he wrestles and can pack a venue and can make people say, like, dang, that's pro wrestling. That's a pro wrestler right there. That's somebody I want to come see. You want value to your show. You want your flyer to actually look good with your shitty Photoshop skills. Book me. You want a Brinks truck to be backed up into every arena, every venue that you pull into, and they flood it. Just like I flooded with toxic masculinity, they flooded with bankrolls of money. Book me. I mean, it's just that simple. And every wrestler, hey, don't you might get fucked up, you might get beat up in the ring with me. It's gonna be okay because you're gonna get that much more notoriety by getting that hashtag Badgate rub. And just to close it out, Jacob, it was, it is, and it will forever be. And I mean forever be.
Johnny time.
Oh, there you go. Johnny time.
Well, thank you again for coming on, Johnny. It's been a pleasure. I will see you again soon.
I'm sure it was. And you will. You will. Get with my people. You do the run around. It's going to take you a while to get back to me. But you're welcome for having me, sir. You are very welcome, Mr. King.
All right. Well, you have a good rest of your afternoon. Enjoy your workouts and your water and everything that goes along with it. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
And that was our interview with Johnny Badgate. Check back with us next week when we will have another interview. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.